Yep. Hello people, we have today with us a special guest, Gary G Gaming. See his link down in the description below.
Let's get into it.
Cheers, champion. We have salsa and beer.
And plain Dorito, original Doritos.
Vegan style. Let's get into these. Salsa. Oh, this is hot salsa, this one. What are we going to talk about?
Well, today I thought, since we're going to be doing food, which is mainly your channel, we could do something more associated with my channel, and we could show off a plane.
A plane? You mean the ME262?
Yes.
Alright.
In fact, we've got a piece of it right here with us.
As a matter of fact, we do. Courtesy of eBay. Check that out. That's a genuine piece of ME262. Probably a part of the fuselage, because you can see the rivets in it. And there's a cool photo of it too there. See?
And it reads, up the top, it says, Messerschmitt 262A1A, Jagdgeschwader 2, Alpine Victory, January 1945.
It's what the Germans had in World War II, the Nazis. They had it in the end of the war, but it wasn't too effective because they didn't have too many built.
And I can tell you some other things about that soon. But the bottom reads, the Messerschmitt 262 Schwaber, or Swallow in English, was the world's first operational jet-powered fighter aircraft. In combat against the Allied fighters, it proved difficult to counter due to its speed. 262 pilots claimed a total of 509 Allied kills before the end of the war. Maintenance problems and lack of fuel during the last months of the war reduced the effectiveness of the aircraft as a fighting force. In the end, the 262 had a negligible impact on the course of the war, though for its day it was an amazing machine all by itself.
That's amazing.
The piece of aircraft that we have right here,
Still got a bit of paint on it. Have a go at it.
was told to be lost near Heidelberg in 1945. It was recovered in 1993.
Wonder what shot it down. Maybe a P-51 Mustang. Maybe.
Well, that's what the picture shows. Just to
Ah.
show it off here. The picture shows two 262s and a P-51D.
There you go. So what was powering those motors? Were they BMW Juno motors?
I believe they were. The two engines powered it and gave it a top speed of 900 k's per hour.
It's pretty quick. Wasn't it the first operational jet aircraft of World War II?
Not the first operational jet aircraft, the first operational jet fighter of World War II.
Jet fighter. Well,
Yes.
there you go.
Of course, being first also means you miss out on some of the, innovations of, what comes. So while you will be first, say, you'll have the fastest plane, the 262s actually lacked air brakes.
No air brakes.
And it made it ridiculously annoying to slow. So when you go to land the aircraft, you've got a line behind your runway. Since the 262 is so fast, you'd have to fly in and throttle down your engines because they had really poor acceleration.
Yeah.
Because they had no air brakes, they were actually very vulnerable when they were going in for landing because they couldn't quickly power back up their engines again. Especially if you're coming back, you're going to be low on fuel and ammunition anyway.
I've seen some old footage on YouTube with old ME262s getting shot down on the runway. Is that because they were low on fuel and they had to land quickly, or?
Well, by the time that the war was over, Germany barely had any fuel anyway, so it's not surprising that, not many of them would be on the ground. They also suffered from mechanical issues. Jet engines need parts like alloy, certain harder metals that are more temperature resistant.
Didn't they have no chromium?
No chromium, so the whole engine was steel. So you'd have to rebuild or replace it after about 50 hours, I believe.
That's crap.
Nevertheless, they managed to build 1,430 of the aircraft, and the 11 survived today.
How many enemy kills with them?
509.
509 enemy kills.
I think fighters, or I'm not too sure.
That's a pretty good record though for a jet that entered late into service. I know they built a tunnel underneath a giant mountain, and they used to have a platform on the side of the mountain, so when they built the jets in the secret tunnels, they'd put the jet on a platform and it'd go doot, 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 to the top of the mountain. They built a runway on top of the mountain and it'd have to fly off the mountain straight into combat.
Yeah, well, by the end of the war, they were actually manufacturing most of their fighters underground because the factories above had been bombed to, oblivion.
Who dug those tunnels, do you reckon?
Likely slave labour.
That's correct.
So yeah, very remarkable fighter aircraft though. It was armed with 4 Mark 108 30mm cannons. It had one of the highest. There's a thing called weight per shot. Well, I think it's per second or something, which means you fire, burst mass. You fire for a second, and then the how much weight you've put out in terms of like rounds is your mass. And because it had 4 30mm cannons, it was very high burst mass. Interesting thing is, the Czechs operated the aircraft until 1951.
Bloody hell, that's a long time. After the war. I know there's one in the Canberra War Memorial.
Yeah, I've seen it. They've got an ME262 and an ME163 Comet as well.
Oh, cool.
Actually got to touch both of them. They're probably not
Really?
supposed to.
No, that's okay.
It's good to touch a piece of history anyway.
That's right.
Unless they're reproductions.
Didn't the Koreans own that ME262? And then they rubbed the paint off it and found a swastika? Is that how the story goes?
Never heard of Koreans ever owning a 262.
Don't know how the Aussies got it.
Could be a reproduction. You don't know.
I know the Americans are making reproduction ME262s. They're using better jet engines though.
Yeah, the old jet engines.
Better materials.
The jet engines.
Construction of the fuselage and stuff.
Yeah, the modern jet engines don't actually fit inside those pods, those casings.
Oh really?
So they it's actually, the engine inside is nowhere near as big because it's more advanced. Also, the ones the ones in air shows in Germany can't have the historical markings on it, so like the swastika and all that.
Oh yes.
Due to their laws. So it's very good.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
It was a very interesting plane. I wouldn't mind getting one.
I think it's one of my favourite planes from World War II. Like, it's pretty cool. If they had more of them at the start of the war, they probably would have won the war. Because the Americans were bombing them day and night. Well, Americans would bomb them during the day, and the British would bomb the Germans in the evening.
Yeah.
So getting bombed day and night, if they had a few of those ones, they could have stopped the bombing.
Well, also another thing is a lot of them were misused as, if you understood the situation on the Eastern Front, there was a lot of Russian ground forces.
I know the Germans, or Adolf Hitler in particular, wanted to use the ME262 not as a fighter but as a tank destroyer.
That is correct. The problem with that is that the plane is going at very high speed. Its design doesn't allow it to be a low-speed attack aircraft. It doesn't have air brakes. It can't do what a Stuka or a Focke-Wulf could do.
They probably missed the target. There's a big lumber and KV-1 or T-34s going past you. And this ME262 goes, meow.
That's right.
Probably missed the target more often than not.
So that was a sort of waste of resources again. There weren't enough. I mean, by today's standards, 1,000 aircraft might sound like a lot, but in reality, I mean, they built 30,000 Bf-109s over the course of the war. So
that's quite a lot.
I
know Adolf Galland, the World War II German fighter ace, he said to Hitler that, give me a squad of these and we'll defeat the Americans in the air. But to no avail. He wouldn't have it.
Well, the thing is though, One statistic I've seen somewhere is that I believe the Ford plant was pumping out a B-24 every hour and a half at one point.
Bloody hell.
So consider that.
Mm.
You know, it's a bit hard to keep up with that kind of production.
Wasn't there like 25 Shermans to one Tiger tank? Some crazy ratio like that.
Mm. And especially considering, I mean, the most Shermans of the late war, they were starting to get intermingled with variants that could quite easily kill a Tiger from the front.
Too easy, Camp Easy.
Mm.
I need more beer. Beer me up, Scotty.
One for me too.
2 beers, bartender. Look what I got. Do you like Star Wars?
Of course.
I love Star Wars. This is my lightsaber. How cool is it? You want to go?
Well, I suppose I'll let it go. It's just Darth Maul.
I think it could be Darth Maul or Darth Vader. But it's red, so that means it's evil.
I suppose just like the plane we're reviewing.
Mmm.
Are you excited for Star Wars happening this year?
Yes, I am excited for Star Wars. I can't wait.
Mm.
I can't wait for my beer either. There's me bloody beer. Chop chop.
Waiting for your beer is kind of like the high tier grind, isn't it?
Yeah, in War Thunder. That's a tough game, that.
Very tough.
I love playing that game.
Making content for that.
Mmm.
Have you thought about making a video for that yourself?
Thinking about it. I might. Thank you. Beer. Beer. You ever been in India? Get it India. Oh.
Did you know that the Indians during the Second World War had the largest volunteer army of 2.5 million men? They never had to introduce conscription.
Is that a fact?
Fighting the Japanese in Burma.
Ah. That's where the Aussies built that railway, the POWs.
Yeah, Myanmar today. But it was part of the Raj back then.
The Raj.
Which means rule, I think. In Indian.
Remember when Indiana Jones was in India? He had to get the sacred stones.
Monkey surprise.
Yeah, the brains. You bring back Sibalinga, bring back to us. Kalima! And he rips that guy's heart out. It's probably my favourite Indiana Jones movie.
I thought that was
Temple of Doom.
I thought that was the second worst.
The second worst? You mad? That's the greatest movie of all time.
Did the other one not have Nazis?
Yeah.
Flying wings?
Yeah.
The Holy Grail?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Versus the Bollywood special, I mean...
I don't know.
Still, one thing we can agree on.
What?
Still better than the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, still better than Crystal Skull. Oh.
Well, you know what they say about always plug. If you like War Thunder montages, you should really check out my channel.
I agree. Check out his channel, Gary G Gaming.
That's right.
It's pretty good.
As I'm making this, I haven't even got a subscriber yet.
No subscribers?
No.
Has the world gone topsy-turvy?
Indeed.
Oh, man.
Channel's only a few weeks old, but, you know, I'm still waiting on that first one.
Oh. Well, you better get one, I'll tell you what. I think you might get one. I've got a feeling.
All
I've
about
got a
views.
couple.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Oh, how good's beer?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. You know they asked us for ID when we got these beers. We said our IDs, we left them in the truck. Don't try that at home, folks. Or you'll get no beer.
No beer. And that'd be devastating.
Tragic.
Because, you know, Saturdays are for the boys. And
Saturdays are for the boys.
And you can't crack a cold one with the boys if you don't have cold ones.
Very true.
Of course, you've got to be able to afford the cold ones first.
Yeah, you need the money.
Which is why views are very important.
Views?
All about them views. That's right.
So please view Gary G and me.
Because the more views I get, the more content I can create. It's a win-win.
Win-win situation. And more beer.
No more beer. Motivates
drink
me to
to
create
that.
more.
And drink more beer.
How much of yours is left?
Oh, no, about half.
You got about half too.
Yeah.
If I take another sip, should we
We'll get another beer.
finish these off?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe.
Yeah, I thought we were going to start them.
Skull on them. I'm enjoying this beer.
I don't think that's the kind of channel that we're either, you know, that we're on either way.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, you know, what it's like. I mean, this video was originally about a 262, but
Where are we going with this?
I don't know.
Do you remember your first beer experience?
I was in year 4.
Year 4.
To any Americans out there, this would be 4th grade. Not sure what the Brits have or anywhere else. When I was in year 4,
4th form?
yeah, 4th form, whatever. I had,
How old were you?
how old was I when I was in?
Year 4.
Yeah. Hang on, let's
Pretty
see.
young.
Kindergarten's like year
5.
5.
Yeah, 5
kindergarten's
in kindergarten.
5. Year 1, 6.
Yeah.
Year 2, 7.
7.
Oh,
Year
7.
3. 8.
Year 4, 9 years old.
9 years old? That's your first beer experience?
Yeah, well, we'd seen it. I was at a friend's house and then, went on to the golf course, local golf course. Grabbed a 6-pack of this German beer. It wasn't that like Bud Light of German beer either. It was something pretty good.
Some Deutsch beer.
Yeah, some Deutschland.
You reckon those young pilots were drinking some beer when they went up in those ME262s?
Oh, I could imagine they would
Little drink for courage.
drink for courage. The Prussians were fearless.
Fearless, the Prussians.
That Prussian system.
It's not even Prussia anymore, it's in Poland now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That's the funniest part. Because
Yeah.
all the Prussians were kicked out of Prussia when the region of Ostpreußen and Prussia itself it was given over to the Polish and the Soviets, because the Polish were part of the Warsaw Pact after the war.
There you go.
They took the city of Königsberg and they evicted all the Germans in the 50s and renamed it Kaliningrad, which is
Kaliningrad.
yeah, and the Russians still own that today. It's their Baltic port, that and St. Petersburg. But yeah, it's an enclave in the, what's it called, Poland today. Yeah, and the whole region of Prussia is the original region that was Prussia. Not there, because the whole north of Germany was once Prussia originally. That was given over to the Polish, basically. And then all they had left was like before the war started, there was the Königsberg little, that area, and then there was the Danzig Strait, and then there was the rest of Germany. But actually, after the First World War, the Allies, not the Allies, the Entente, actually, they dissolved the state of Prussia.
The Triple Entente.
Well, there was more than three at the end of the war.
Because I remember the Triple Entente was Britain, France, and
Russia. Back then, the Germans actually, they were the strongest, arguably the strongest nation in the world at the time.
Really?
Simply based on, you could say that Britain was too, but in terms of land fighting force and industry.
There you go. In World War One.
World War One.
How come they lost?
All to do with,
Many factors.
It's a bit of a... You could say a lot of
I think they were getting choked off because they couldn't get... Or the Navy choked them off a bit.
The Germans were the strongest side. They had a fleet...
Well, they were starving to death in the end.
Basically, they weren't supposed to be in that war in the first place. The war...
They gave Austria a blank check.
Pretty much they were dragged in because the then dying Habsburg Empire dragged them into a war with the three large powers simply because Serbia was backed by Russia.
Australia fought on the beaches of Gallipoli in Turkey.
And
that was Winston Churchill's blunder.
And on the Western Front.
And on the Western Front.
So those of you from overseas who don't know about the story of Gallipoli, basically the Ottoman Empire still existed back then, and the Dardanelles Strait, which is what the city of Constantinople lies on. Oh, sorry, Istanbul.
That's correct.
Shit. Too much history. The British tried to open up a supply route to the Russians through the Dardanelles. So we launched an amphibious invasion of of that strait, or whatever it's called. However, we had a blunder, and what it was New Zealand, Australian, I believe there were French and British troops there as well. Despite the fact that Australian and New Zealand troops were the minority of troops there, we actually managed to achieve our objectives, whereas the British did not. In most cases.
It was a pretty good withdrawal. I managed to get so many people out with the minimum of casualties. I know that for a fact.
In our country of Australia, we actually celebrate this defeat as a defining moment in Australian history. That's why we have Anzac Day, and that's why there's actually a cove there called Anzac Cove.
But Kokoda trial, when the Japanese were trying to take over Port Moresby and take over Papua New Guinea, trying to get to Australia, that was probably more significant, more so.
Yeah, which is
Gallipoli, because that was close to invasion. Australia getting invaded by the Japanese. They had the money printed, ready to go.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing.
That was very significant.
After Pearl Harbor, most of the US fleet was quite dilapidated and not... They had a lot of ships on the way, but until then we had to hold on for them.
And the Australian Prime Minister had to pull all the troops back from fighting the Germans to fight the Japanese to protect Australia, basically.
That's right, people forget the Japanese didn't join the war until
and Darwin
December 1940. We'd already been fighting in Africa for the last 2 years. So yeah, we actually did we were a rear guard for the US forces in the Pacific. So, who were in disarray. Without our help, they would have had a much harder time getting back at the Japanese. It would have made. It was a bloody campaign of 5 years across all those islands.
I know the Prime Minister of Australia at the time, Mr. Curtin, had to pull all the Australians back, and even Darwin was bombed more times than Pearl Harbor.
Indeed, it was. In terms of number of times.
Are you out of beer?
No.
I'm out of beer.
Any more beer?
Beer me up, Scotty.
Australian contributions in the war are generally, I mean, all nations in the world put their contribution first. Like if you're in Brazil, if you're taught about the Second World War, you'll be taught about how the Brazilian fleet helped escort convoys across the Atlantic, and how the Brazilian volunteers helped in Europe. Yeah.
There you go.
If you're taught in the United Kingdom, you'll most likely learn about the Battle of Britain, North Africa. Probably not a lot about the Far East because there's a lot of anti-colonial sentiment, so they don't really teach a lot of that.
I wonder what they teach in... Ooh, here we go. Beer for you.
So,
A beer for me. Thank you, beer person.
thank you.
Saturdays for the boys. Ah!
That's right.
Oh, I've got an itchy nose. Does that mean money?
Money.
Or views?
Always about that view life. Don't forget to whichever channel respectively you're watching on, like, subscribe,
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Yeah. Do yourself a favour. Like it and subscribe.
Because the sooner I hit 1,000 subscribers, the sooner I'll do a giveaway.
A giveaway?
You what? Yeah, I'll do a giveaway.
What are you giving away? An empty can of beer?
Half your dildo collection.
Oh!
Nah, I don't know. I'll think about it when I get 1,000 subscribers. I haven't even got one.
This isn't a dildo, this is a lightsaber. There's a difference. Could be used as a dildo though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I kept telling yourself that.
Imagine that up your rectum.
Stop wagging it around.
Imagine that. Doctor puts this up your ass.
Hello.
Imagine that glowing.
That'd stimulate the prostate a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah. How do you know I've got a dildo collection? Do you have a dildo collection?
Well, I mean, I'm clearly a masochist. I do play War Thunder.
Ooh.
No. But, you know, I'm glad the Japanese and the Germans didn't win.
Why is that? We'd be speaking Japanese or German now.
Yeah, it would probably be a Japanese slave house. Probably be drinking sake right now when eating.
I don't mind sake.
We'd be eating rice balls. And,
I don't like balls.
yeah, but I heard you're not allergic to nuts. Are you allergic to nuts? I'm allergic to nuts.
So you do. Oh, I don't have a nut allergy.
I have a nut allergy. I have an allergy to man nuts.
Man nuts?
Mm.
So you don't nibble on Nobby's nuts?
Yeah, you're into that though.
Is that right? Is that a fact, Jack?
I'd say it would be.
You want, you go then, eh?
I could go.
Do you want to have a go?
I don't want to have a go at whatever you're thinking of.
Oh!
Weak.
You might get a coward punch.
You don't get one from me. Oh, good to go. When are we gonna wrap this up?
What about now?
Yeah, good idea.
That's just another video. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this video.
This channel.
To this channel, thank you.
Whichever channel you're watching it on.
Yep.
Mine or his.
Subscribe!
Yes.
Like the video, share it, and leave your comments down below, and we'll see you later. This is Gary G. This is Toys with Food with Bizza, or something like that. That was just a video. Please subscribe, share it, like it, and leave your comments down below. This is Toys with Food, Toys and Food with Bizza, and Gary G Gaming. Subscribe to his channel.
Please do. I need the first right now.
Or fucking smash your face in, cunt.